Welcome back to the Rundown. So, Ken, what do we have next?
We have Bob Moody from Real Expectations going to talk to us. Hey, Bob, why don't you come on in and have a seat and talk to us a little bit.
Thanks, Kenny. Thank you so much.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Bob, tell us a little bit about the Real Expectations Foundation, how long you've been doing this, what your target is. Give us a little overview.
Well, Real Expectations has been around for 10 years now, and we've expanded. You know, originally, Real Expectations was set up to raise additional money for the Delaware Bass Federation Scholarship Fund in the name of Mel Sheshfine. And that's been very successful, and we've had a lot of adult youths participating in that, and the teams keep coming back year after year. We expanded. We now have a Christian retreat where we go. This past year we went to Lake George, New York, and you know, we had a lot of fishes of men, and we caught a lot of smallmouth. It was awesome fishing for those 4 days that we were there.
Awesome.
And of course we have our 2 weeks of summer camp, and that's what kind of brought me in here today to talk to you guys about this exciting new partnership that I'm going to have with Chris Irby and delfish.net. So we're really looking forward to this.
Yeah. Elaborate. What exactly are you going to be doing with Chris?
Well, you know, over the years, I've had the opportunity to fish with a lot of young kids, from 5 to 8-year-olds. Those tweens, the tweens I call, they're 8 to 12-year-olds. That's the primary focus of our group, is that 8 to 12, and some of the kids that are older. And I found out that some things worked better than others depending on the age group.
Right.
And just a simple thing as a knot. You would think, you know, you got to understand that some of these young kids, they have this dexterity. For the really young kids, aren't there yet.
Right.
And even though they know how to tie their shoes, it's a real challenge to get them to tie a polymer knot, which is my favorite. I mean, we all have our favorite knots. Just from years of experience, day in and day out, the best knot for that 8 to 12-year-old group is the trilene knot.
Right.
And getting them to wet it before they cinch it down is probably the most important thing I could do. But you know what? A lot of parents don't realize that you know these knots that they're tying, the simple thing is a knot, but it's probably the most important thing we can do when we're fishing.
Sure. Right.
That this is the knot they seem to have the most ease with. One of the other things that I've noticed over the years is that probably the best rod and reel combo, or the best reel to use, is a lever type reel, the one that's located on the bottom. You know how you have the spin cast
Right.
that's on top of the push button? Well, they also manufacture one that sits underneath the rod like a traditional spinning rod, but has a lever.
Right.
And that is so much easier for them to manipulate and to cast. So those kind of tips are what Chris Irby and I talked about, is that we put together a few video snippets about tips for parents for their kids, or tips for their kids to say, okay, you know what, this is how you tie a trilene knot, you know, and this is why we use this. Obviously the bobber rig, you know, people think when they fish with worms, they think with, you know, we're going to fish with bobbers and a worm, but there's some really important things you have to know about these bobber rigs.
Absolutely.
The type of hook is very important. The size of the hook is very important. The fact that you use a split shot is very important.
Right.
Those little nuances can make a fun day for kids, because they're going to go out and catch fish.
Right.
You know, so I'm really looking forward to it. We're planning on doing these snippets at Delaware tackle shops. So we can go right in the tackle shop, and I can grab a Fisherman's wacky worm kit and talk about these kids have so much success with these wacky worms.
Absolutely.
And just go from there. So I'm really excited about this partnership, and look forward to doing a piece in your shop.
I hope so. And folks, I can't say enough, as a person who has participated in many years in many of the Real Expectations events. Folks, if you get a chance to come out and support this any way you can, get in touch with it. Get in touch with me. You know, my website, his website. What is your website exactly?
RealExpectations.org.
And get in contact and step up and come out and see this. It's really a great time. Great message.
I did one this year. It was like the best tournament I had this year, the most fun I had. And the boy I fished with, Lucas, it was just a great day being out there with them. They appreciate it.
You know, and they don't get the opportunity to go out and do that every day.
Right, yeah, I mean, and we think about it like my boat's hooked up to my car all the time. I just after work take it. But when I took the kid, it was like whatever you want to do.
Well, you know what? It's cool. In this last week that we had, I had some students that were ADHD, attention deficit disorder, and one of the hardest things to teach these kids to do is to focus and to use some patience. It was unbelievable. I mean, it was like boom, and it was there, and they were focused, and they were very patient. You know, we as adults we forget that what fishing does for us.
Absolutely.
You know, that it teaches us patience. It teaches us how to focus. We forget about the fact, you know, that we're out in nature and how important it is to take care of what we have so that future generations can use it. Absolutely. You know, we wouldn't spend 20, 30 minutes looking at a turtle in the water.
But they will.
But these kids spend 20, 30 minutes. And you know what? That's what it's all about. You know, it's not just about catching fish.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, it's the kids who get hooked and not the fish.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, Bob, thank you so much for coming in
and
talking about Real Expectations. And again, folks, any way you could check it out, please do. Bob,
hey, thank you so much for having me tonight. I really appreciate that.
Thanks
Little
again.
things I never thought about with kids.
Yeah, I've got 2 kids in the background. They've got stuff in their hands already. They're going to have to pay for it when we're done.
Either that or they can work it off.
No. They're going to catch fish with them too. I know.
That's wonderful. Well, folks, again, thanks for watching this part of the program, and stay with us.
Thanks.